Immediately, Amarachi winced in pain. "Stop! Stop! It's hurting me!" she cried, pushing Oluwafemi away. Welcome to African Folktales by Muna, your gateway to infinite tales and stories. 10-year-old Amarachi had always been a very curious child. From a young age, she loved reading storybooks, building small science projects with bottle caps and rubber bands, and exploring new things online whenever she had access to her mother's phone or the school's computer lab. Her mind was always asking questions, always hungry for knowledge. Amarachi was the kind of child who could sit for hours flipping through her Macmillan textbooks, asking questions about everything from how airplanes flew to why the stars twinkled. She had a restless hunger to understand the world around her. One day, however, Amarachi's endless curiosity led her into something that would teach her one of the biggest lessons of her life. Amarachi's mother, Mrs. Bimbola Okafor, had just bought her a new laptop as a reward for coming first again in her primary 6th class at Royal Fountain Academy. It was a big deal because Mrs. Bimbola, a hardworking single mother who worked as a banker in Victoria Island and wanted her daughter to use the laptop for schoolwork and learning during the long holidays, had sacrificed a lot to get it. When the silver Lenovo laptop was presented to Amara that Saturday morning, she jumped up and hugged her mother tightly. "Mummy, thank you. Thank you so much," she squealed, her eyes sparkling. Her mom smiled warmly. "You deserve it, my dear. Use it well for your schoolwork," Mrs. Bimbola had said, handing over the shiny silver laptop one sunny Saturday morning. She hoped that the laptop would help Amarachi improve during the long holidays. Amarachi nodded obediently, though her mind was already racing with ideas of everything she could now do online. Research, fun games, educational videos. She couldn't wait. She was over the moon with excitement. A few days later, after returning home from her school's end-of-term party, Amarachi decided to work on a holiday project her teacher had given them. Write about a famous African hero. She opened her laptop in the living room while sipping a glass of Zobo drink her mother had made. Typing into Google, she began searching for information about Queen Amina of Zaria. As she scrolled down, an advert suddenly popped up on the screen. Find out your true age and see your future. Click here to discover amazing secrets. At first, Amarachi laughed. It looked like a harmless, fun game, the kind of thing kids in her class always joked about. The ad was colorful, filled with dancing cartoon characters and catchy Afrobeats music in the background. She thought it was just a harmless, fun game. The ad was bright, colorful, and even had playful music in the background. Amarachi knew from what her teachers said that not everything online could be trusted, but the temptation was too strong. It can't hurt to just check. So, she told herself, her fingers itching. It's just small game, she told herself, brushing aside the warning in her heart. She clicked the ad. The screen then switched to a new website. It asked her for her name and date of birth. Amarachi hesitated, then filled it out. Name, Amarachi Okafor. Birth date, April 12, 2015. The screen immediately changed into a video player. At first, the video seemed ordinary. Animated characters, bright colors. But as Amarachi kept watching, the scenes began to shift. The people in the video started doing things Amarachi couldn't understand. The movements were strange. The sounds were weird. Her heart started beating faster. "What's this?" she whispered, her fingers frozen on the touchpad. But instead of closing it, she kept watching, paralyzed by a strange mix of curiosity and fear. Unknown to her, her cousin Oluwafemi, who was staying with them for the holidays, had walked into the room and peeped over her shoulder. Oluwafemi, who was 12 years old, had come from Owerri to spend the holidays in Lagos since Mrs. Bimbola was usually busy at work. "Wetin you dey watch?" Oluwafemi asked, squatting beside her. "Oluwafemi," Amarachi exclaimed, startled. Her voice trembled. "What is this? Why does it feel so wrong?" Oluwafemi, who was always the more adventurous one, shrugged. "I don't know. Maybe it's just for adults. I think it's a kind of game. I've heard the older boys at school talk about things like this," he said, trying to sound casual. Amarachi shifted uncomfortably. "Should we even be watching this?" she asked nervously. Oluwafemi paused, biting his lip. "I don't know. It's just a video. We're not doing anything wrong," he said, though he didn't sound very sure. Deep down, both of them knew something wasn't right. In a rush, Amarachi slammed the laptop shut. Still, the images stayed in their heads. A few days, their curiosity got the better of them. The laptop sat in the corner, calling out to them. Whenever Mrs. Bimbola went to work or was in the kitchen cooking ogbono soup, they would sneak into Amarachi's room, lock the door, and continue watching the forbidden videos. Amarachi, once a star pupil, stopped using the laptop for her school projects. The glowing screen had become their secret hideaway. What started as innocent curiosity soon grew into an obsession. The laptop, which was meant to be a tool for learning, had become a doorway into a confusing and dangerous world. While we continue this journey with Amarachi, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. There's more to learn and many more real-life lessons ahead. One hot Sunday afternoon, while the househelp was mopping the parlor and Mrs. Bimbola was on a Zoom call in her room, they sat together in Amarachi's hall, the fan spinning lazily above them. Amarachi spoke nervously. "Oluwafemi, what if we tried doing what we saw in those videos? Maybe we'll understand it better, since it's supposed to be a game." Oluwafemi's eyes widened, his stomach tightening in fear. "No way, that's for adults," he exclaimed, shocked that Amarachi would even suggest such a thing. Amarachi insisted, her voice trembling, "But why not? It's just like a game. We try once, then we will know if it's really wrong." There was a long silence. Oluwafemi stared at her, unsure. Deep inside, he knew it was a bad idea, but eventually he nodded reluctantly. They went quietly and tried to mimic what they had seen in the video. Inside the bedroom, they awkwardly tried to mimic the actions they had seen. The first attempt left them both deeply shaken. Immediately, Amarachi winced in pain. "Stop, stop, it's hurting me," she cried, pushing Oluwafemi away. She ran to the other side of the room, curled up, her cheeks wet with tears. Oluwafemi stood frozen, guilt hitting him like a blow. This wasn't fun. This wasn't a game. It was painful, confusing, and wrong. Maybe we weren't supposed to do it like that, Oluwafemi said weakly. Amarachi, curled up in a ball on the bed, just shook her head, refusing to look at him. She didn't understand what had happened exactly, but one thing was clear. She never wanted to try it again. The next day, Amarachi couldn't even look at Oluwafemi. Guilt gnawed at her heart. She barely ate her breakfast of akamu and moi moi. Every time she passed the laptop, she felt like it was staring back at her in judgment. She wanted so badly to tell her mother, but how? Mrs. Bimbola was always busy with meetings, calls, and her side hustle selling human hair wigs online. "Not now, my dear. Mummy is busy," was the usual reply. Loneliness swallowed Amarachi whole. Oluwafemi, too, wrestled with guilt. They stopped sneaking off together. They stopped laughing together. Even simple things like playing Ludo or watching Superbook on TV felt awkward. The laptop sat in a dusty corner of the room, untouched, like a cursed object. After a week, on a breezy evening when power had just been restored and the compound generator was turned off, Oluwafemi approached Amarachi. He knocked gently on her door. "Amara, can I come in?" After a long pause, Amarachi opened the door slightly. "What do you want?" she asked, her voice flat. "I'm sorry," Oluwafemi said, that eyes shining with remorse. "I should have said no that day. I didn't mean to hurt you." Amarachi looked at him, her eyes filling with tears. "I was wrong too," she admitted. "I pushed you into it. Let's forget about it." Slowly, their bond began to heal. They started talking again, helping with chores and laughing. But Oluwafemi had been thinking too much. One sunny afternoon, as they played under the mango tree outside, Oluwafemi said quietly, "Amarachi, about the videos." She frowned. "What about them?" "Maybe we could try again," he said hesitantly. "Maybe last time didn't work because we didn't do it right." Amarachi's heart dropped. "Are you sure?" "It hurt last time. This time we'll be careful," Oluwafemi said quickly. "I promise." After hesitating, Amarachi foolishly agreed. They tried again, following what they remembered. This time they were cautious, slower, more careful. Amarachi still felt wrong. "No, Oluwafemi, this isn't right," she said firmly, pulling away. Oluwafemi sighed heavily, finally admitting it. "Maybe we shouldn't do this anymore." Amarachi nodded, her face serious. "Let's stop, and let's stop watching those videos altogether." Oluwafemi sat back, shame washing over him. "I think so too. Let's forget about all this rubbish." The weight of guilt refused to lift. Their friendship, though mended on the outside, still had cracks inside. The once beloved laptop sat forgotten, gathering dust under Amarachi's reading table. Days turned into weeks. The incident continued to haunt them. Their friendship remained strained. One afternoon, while Mrs. Bimbola was cleaning Amarachi's room, she noticed the laptop tucked awkwardly under the table. Strange. She picked it up. Curious, she opened it. Shock gripped her chest. There, in the browser history, were traces of the strange app, the history of the videos they had been watching. Chineke me, wet in my eyes they see like this, she exclaimed, her voice trembling. Her heart thundered in her chest. Without wasting a second, she called out, her voice booming through the house. Amarachi, Oluwafemi, both of you come here immediately. Both of you come here right now. Their stomachs dropped as they heard the sternness in her voice. Amarachi's legs almost gave way as she approached. Her mother's voice was sharp and filled with anger. Mummy, what's wrong? She asked in a small trembling voice. Mrs. Bimbola didn't answer. She simply held out the laptop. Explain. Now. Amarachi and Oluwafemi stared at the screen, frozen. With fear, with shame. Amarachi's throat. Mummy, I didn't mean for it to happen, she stammered. Oluwafemi and I, we were just curious. Mrs. Bimbola's face twisted, a painful mix of anger, sadness, and disappointment. This is serious, Amarachi. You both crossed a big line. Line. I trusted you two to behave yourselves. You both are children. Children. What you watched, what you did. Do you have any idea how dangerous it is? Tears welled up in Amarachi's and Oluwafemi's eyes. I'm sorry, Mummy. I didn't want to hurt anyone, she cried. Mrs. Bimbola turned to Oluwafemi. Oluwafemi, you have disappointed me. I trusted you to look out for your younger cousin. Oluwafemi's face burned with shame. I'm sorry, Auntie. I didn't mean for it to happen. We just wanted to understand, but we were wrong. I'm sorry, Auntie Bimbola. Mrs. Bimbola knew she had to act fast. She confiscated the laptop immediately. From today, this laptop is gone until further notice. No amount of pleading would change her mind. The magical device that once symbolized excitement now represented a painful mistake. Weeks passed. Mrs. Bimbola took leave from work to spend more time at home. She sat Amarachi and Oluwafemi down and started proper conversations about sex education, good touch and bad touch, and how to navigate the dangers of the internet. She enabled strict parental controls on all devices. She installed strong filters on the laptop when she eventually gave it back months later. Over time, Amarachi and Oluwafemi slowly healed. They spent more time outside, playing football with the neighbors' kids, roasting corn by the roadside, and laughing again. The laptop no longer held power over them. As for Oluwafemi, when he returned to Enugu, he carried the lessons deep in his heart. He avoided bad company at school and focused on football and his studies. Their bond as cousins was never quite the same as before, but it grew into a deeper, more respectful friendship. They promised each other that nothing, no curiosity, no temptation, would ever come between them again. Not every child survives the mistakes of early exposure. Some carry the scars for life. Let this story be a reminder to parents, teachers, and guardians. The world is changing fast, but our children still need guidance, protection, and love. Because when innocence is lost too early, it can never truly be restored. Childhood is meant to be protected, not rushed. Sometimes one mistake can steal years of innocence. Let's teach our children early, before the world teaches them the hard way. If this story touched your heart or made you reflect, please give it a thumbs up, share it with someone, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content. Don't forget to comment below, where are you watching from, and what lesson did you take from this story? Let's keep having these important conversations. Until next time, stay safe, stay wise, and protect the innocence of our children. If you enjoyed this mysterious and dramatic story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thrilling African tales that keep you guessing till the end. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode, and tell us in the comments, what would you do if you were in Mrs. Bimbola Okafor's shoes? See you in the next story. Thank you all for watching and for your support.